Okay. Let's start with the first question. How and where did you start practicing Aikido?
I started Aikido back in 1969 in Kyoto, Japan, and it was called Seibukan Budo Dojo, which means a Seibukan with dojo with a multiple martial art.
Yeah.
That was back in 1969, and my first sensei was named Hirose Sensei. I don't remember his first name, but the last name was Hirose Sensei.
Mm.
And he was about 70 years old. He was, as a matter of fact, the direct student of
Oh, sensei?
Bansen Tanaka Sensei from Osaka Prefecture.
Okay.
And Bansen Tanaka Sensei was actually the very, very direct student of O Sensei. He is a very, very, he is one of about 7 or 8 direct student of O Sensei after the World War II.
Yeah.
So that's how I started Aikido because that time Aikido was not popular at all. Nobody knew about Aikido. I mean, not nobody, but only a few people knew and practiced Aikido. Most
Yeah.
people practicing karate, judo, kendo, and stuff like that. So when I joined Aikido, I had no idea what to expect because I was not actually interested in Aikido, but I wanted to join karate in this school.
Yeah.
I was 18 years old, and I always wanted to learn kicking, punching art.
As usual.
Yeah, that's right.
As usual for the person at this age, 19 years old.
Well, also, there was no information about Aikido at that time. Like I said, it was not popular, and nobody was showing Aikido. There was no book or anything. So, it was not that popular. So, when I went to this Sebukan Budo Dojo in Kyoto, um, I saw a karate class, and then I saw Aikido class, which I had no idea what it was that time. I knew karate, but I did not know that what
Yeah.
doing in Aikido class.
Uh, would you give us some more details on how the Aikido training was at that time in Japan?
Like I said, Aikido was not known to most people, and it's when I did Aikido in the beginning, I knew that it was a completely different art that I was not sure if I wanted to take it. So at that time, Aikido was not known, so I did not know. I don't know how Aikido was practiced that time, except what I heard from Toyota Sensei was that you know uh, just before I started Aikido, all Sensei died. So by that time, there are a lot of all Sensei's direct student leaving Aikikai and starting his own organization
Mm.
like Yoshinkai, Tomiki, or Ki Aikido, that kind of stuff. So it was. I know that Aikido world was kind of the split from just all senses Aikido into different schools. And what I did Aikido was just a simple techniques without learning without too much about the explanations. And
Yeah.
And my sensei, my next sensei after Hirose sensei left was Kawahara sensei, who was also direct student of Tanaka sensei. And he actually taught us Aikido without any explanation whatsoever. He showed the techniques, and that's it. There was no explanation. He was not talking at all, and So what we have to do is just take a look at his demonstration and start practicing. That's all it is. He was walking around, but never fixed, never done anything. It's a very, very old-fashioned style.
But this is a very traditional Japanese style, isn't it?
Pretty much so. If you say traditional martial art, yeah, traditional martial art school instructors don't, explain too much.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, and so it was, that's how I practiced Aikido until I came to Chicago and met, Toyota Sensei.
That's an interesting thing. But before you're moving, to Chicago, how you decided to go to United States?
Actually, I had no plan to come to Chicago. I met while I was practicing Aikido at the Seibukan Budo Dojo. I met this American guy who was a foreign student coming to Japan studying Japanese culture.
Mm.
And he joined our Aikido class. And at that time, I was about ready to finish the college, and I wanted to learn English, so I can, I could speak and write and listen. I just wanted to learn the English conversation and the English stuff, but at that time there was no way learning English except maybe watching Sesame Street or something like this on the television. So I became a good friend with him, and he told me that he was getting ready to leave Japan, going back to Chicago.
And he invited you, to join and come in U.S.
Right. Yeah. He guaranteed me that his father could help me for getting tourist visa.
Yeah.
So I said, well, this is a good chance. But remember, I didn't speak English. I just knew very, very few words in conversation. So,
yeah.
But I said, okay, what the heck, So I decided to come to U.S. for a short period of time.
Yeah. And how long after you came in U.S. you met Toyota?
I met Toyota Sensei. As a matter of fact, right after I came to Chicago with my friend, we were looking for Aikido school nearby where his house was.
Mm.
And we found one Aikido class at the University of Chicago. It's called the University of Chicago Aikido Club. It's a University of Chicago. It's a big university, and there was an Aikido club there. And my friend and I joined the Aikido club there. And one night, Toyota Sensei came to teach us because the instructor who was teaching this Aikido club was a friend of Toyota Sensei.
Mm.
So this instructor invited Toyota Sensei to come to the University of Chicago Aikido club. That's how I actually met Toyota Sensei first time.
Yeah, but at that time Toyota was still with Kochituhei, or they were already separated?
He was still with Tohei Sensei and Ki Aikido.
Yeah.
And he was actually he was just sent to Chicago from Tohei Sensei same year as I came to United States back in 1970, I think 4 or 5 like this. And Toyota Sensei was invited to come to Chicago to take a position as a chief instructor of, it's called the Chicago Ki Aikido Society.
Yeah. But do you have a chance to know Tohei Sensei well, to know him in person? Or?
Not so well. I had several chance to meet him and train with him, but I didn't know him personally. I met Tohei Sensei. I think it was 1975 or 1976 when Chicago Ki Aikido Society hosted Tohei Sensei for the seminar.
Oh.
And when Tohei Sensei came to Chicago Ki Aikido Society, I was there, and Toyota Sensei introduced me to Tohei Sensei. Mm-hmm. And I remember Toyota Sensei told Tohei Sensei that I was a student of Bansen Tanaka Sensei. And Tohei Sensei and Bansen Tanaka Sensei were acquaintance. They knew each other because they were part of a direct student of Tohei Sensei right after the World War II.
Yeah.
So Tohei Sensei knew Tanaka Bansen Sensei. So Tohei Sensei said, "Oh, you were a student of Bansen Tanaka Sensei."
Yeah, nice.
I said, "Hi, Sensei,"
And afterwards, when you decided, to be a deshi, to start to be a deshi, to start the uchi deshi program, or I don't know actually.
Well, actually, while I was at Chicago Ki Aikido Society, there was some accident that we lost this building.
Yeah.
And that Toyota Sensei was about ready to start a new dojo outside of Chicago. The city was called Evanston, Illinois.
Mm.
And he found one building that he decided to convert into a Aikido dojo. So he asked me if I could help him building this dojo. So I said, okay, because Toyota Sensei was my sensei. So I said, okay, Sensei, I help. So I went to the building and we started working on cleaning and putting stuff together. And finally, we were able to have that dojo intact. And the dojo had a accommodation facility so that people can live.
Yeah.
So the other sensei said, Hiroshi, I'd like you to move into this dojo. And by that time, I had a little apartment in Chicago, and I was paying the rent. But the Toyota Sensei said, if you pay me just a few dollars, you can live into this dojo.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Which is a good deal,
Right. It saved my money. I said, okay, Sensei, I moved in. So that's how that's how I began living there. And as soon as I lived, several other people, students of him, coming into this dojo and start to live with us.
When you come for the first time in Bulgaria?
I came to Bulgaria in 1996. I was, I was practicing Aikido at the local Aikido dojo in Raleigh.
Yeah.
And the Toyota sensei came to teach us for the seminar that time, 1996. And he asked me if I want to come to Bulgaria for seminar. And I said, Toyota sensei, where's the Bulgaria?
Yeah, I can imagine.
And he was at that time he was already coming to Bulgaria several times and holding seminar, right, with Yamanashi sensei. So he said, Toyota sensei said, Hiro-san, why don't you go to Bulgaria and teach seminar? And at first, I was not sure what to say because I had no knowledge of Bulgaria or where it is, that kind of stuff. But as you know, when sensei asks you, your best answer usually is "Hi, sensei," right?
Hi, sensei. Yeah, of course.
You don't say "No, sensei" most of the time. You just say "Hi, sensei." So I said "Hi, sensei." Okay. I'll go. So that's how I came to Bulgaria back in 1996.
Which wasn't so bad, decision from today's perspective. It seems that this was a very good decision.
It was a good decision. I was actually, as a matter of fact, like you said, I was so glad I came to Bulgaria. It opened up lot more view of my experience, life experience. If I had just stayed in Raleigh or so, it would have been very, very limited in terms of looking at the world. So coming to Bulgaria was an excellent opportunity for me to open up my eye and see more people and culture. I fell in love with the Bulgarian cultures.
Definitely. And after so many years, in Aikido, because you have more than 50 years behind in Aikido, what do you think is the most important? What do you think that we have to tell to the young people for Aikido practice?
The most important thing is to make a commitment. That is the most important in order to continue practicing for many years to come. People have to make a commitment, which is not easy task. Very, very difficult, as we all know.
Especially nowadays.
Yeah, especially in these days, it's so easy to find something else and move to different hobby or stuff. As you know, for the most people, this is in my opinion, but Aikido is a hobby. It's not so necessity in a life. It's a hobby. Only few people transcend that kind of status of hobby into more like a life accomplishment.
Yeah.
There not that many people though, just a few people, look into different directions, like yourself, myself, Gano Sensei, Oda Sensei, Tohei Sensei, all these people, to me, like they transcended that beginner's level into much higher. That's why we have been able to continue this.
Of course, but this is a good way to start to understand yourself,
Right.
Most probably here we are a touching point to Zen. And uh, I'll ask you how you start with Zen, how you start practicing Zen, and who was the first person influence and introduce you to Zen?
I started Zen training as soon as I moved into uh, the Toyota Sensei's new dojo in Evanston. His idea was to bring his experience of the Uchideshi program that he had with the Ichikukai Zen and Misogi dojo in Tokyo. He wanted to bring that idea into his new dojo, and he put the program adding the Aikido, Zen, and Misogi. That's how I started this Misogi Zen and the Misogi training with the Toyota Sensei.
Have you ever been in Ichikukai?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever been in Ichikukai? Have you ever went there?
Have I ever been to Ichikukai? Yes,
Yeah.
I have once, and I have met the Hino Sensei, who was also head of this Ichikukai dojo. When I was there, I think he passed away, but Hino Sensei was there, and I never practiced Zen Misogi there. I just visited there once because a friend of mine was a student of Hino Sensei, and so I was invited to go there to meet Hino Sensei, and Hino Sensei knew Toyota Sensei, so he was very happy to see me too.
Oh yeah. Do you know that Germano Shihan is planning to go to Ichikukai next year, 2021?
Yeah, he told me about it, and and you're planning to go too, right?
Yeah, I have a plan to join him, if there is such a chance, I don't want to miss,
Yeah. Well, I know you guys want to try. He asked me if I want to come to Ichikukai, and I said, well, not exactly.
No, not so excited for such kind of idea,
Well, my age, training like this is it's a pretty difficult.
Yeah, it's a tough job, yeah, definitely.
I know it is a very, very hard training, and especially since I have a problem with my knee.
Yeah.
Sitting like this for a long period of time is not, it's almost impossible for me. So I said, I come to Tokyo to meet you guys, but
Yeah. Especially that we are practicing misogi there. It's a tough work.
Yeah, I heard that their program is a very, very, tough, and only few people can finish this program. And I remember when the Toyota Sensei started this Misogi training, he explained to me the whole programs at the Ichikukai.
Yeah, I know.
Actually, I was very glad that he did not, enforce us to, he did not force us to do the whole program, because I don't know if I could have survived that kind of training.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
But I knew that you guys were very hard practicing in Chicago, in Michigan Lake. I've heard a lot of stories that you're practicing misogi in Michigan Lake during the winter time.
Lake Michigan, huh?
Yeah, Lake Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that. Again, that was a part of a Misogi training as a Uchideshi while I was there. And That was like 1976 and 1977, I think.
No.
Um, we woke up about 6 o'clock in the morning, January 1st and 2nd, 3rd,
Oh.
and we went to Lake Michigan. And because during the winter time, January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, it was a very, very, very cold, and the lake was covered with ice.
Yeah.
So we have to break the ice. We walk into that lake and breaking the ice. Then we walk into the lake, and we, we dipped until our body just came under the water, not completely, but up to the shoulder level.
Oh.
And we did this chanting. I can't remember the name of the chanting, but there was certain chanting that the other sensei showed us, so we have to do chanting.
Oh. Freezing to death, but chanting.
Yeah, it was so cold. I mean, it was incredibly cold, and we had to take off a doggy and just a swimming pants.
Yeah.
But funny thing was that those after that I never caught cold. Usually I caught cold very easy, but I didn't catch cold.
Then you don't have to afraid by coronavirus in nowadays.
This virus is different, yeah.
Okay, so in the end, what is your understanding of life and death?
Okay, the life and death. Let me see. Actually, I wrote something. Okay, the life and death in a Japanese called shiseikan. Shiseikan.
Shiseikan.
I think it's one of the Toyota Sensei's favorite, wisdom is called shiseikan. And shi means death. Sei means life. And kan is the concept or logic or concept, rational. So the shiseikan means the concept of life and death. Okay. And soon as we are born, say we are heading also toward the death. That is no exception. Nobody can escape from this reality. So, based on the fact that we know that Shiseikan, the life and death, are nothing separated. It's just one part of the universal truth. To me, as long as we accept this fact, we can start actually living with the full energy. Because we know that our end will come sooner or later.
Yeah.
So question is, what we're going to do in between a life and death? What we're going to do about it? That's the question we have to ask every single day, and we don't find the answer because we may not find the answer. We may never find the answer anyway. But keep asking for these questions. Keep looking for it. That's the journey that everybody follows every day, no matter how powerful you are, how rich you are, or how small you are, how big you are. It doesn't matter because the fact is that we have a life and death. So that's my idea about life and death.
Nice. It's very interesting point of view. I appreciate your explanation.
Sure.
I can see behind you there is a lot of paintings and some sumie.
Yeah.
I was,
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you see it?
I'm just want to ask you, when you start with the paintings and the sumie, and of course, if you can give some information for the paintings which are behind you, it will be interesting.
Um, my college degree is art, and but before that, even way before that, I had always a big passion about art, painting, sculpture, design, illustrations, anything that we call art, even like martial art too. I had always passion toward art, and I spent some time as a professional commercial artist. And when that was gone, I decided to, look into different kind of art. And I've been interested in using Japanese sumi ink to paint something that is called sumie painting, because I had seen so many sumie paintings done by Chinese people or Japanese people, martial artists or samurai. Very famous samurais left so many sumie paintings on the calligraphies. So I wanted to try, those paintings, and I was self-taught painter, and I learned very quick because I had a passion. Yeah, it was.
Thank you very much for sharing this information with us and
No problem.
spending
This
your
fun.
time.
It's very interesting. Yeah, I like this conversation on the Skype. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. In our days, it's help a lot, to keep a contact with the people.
Right,
Because,
right. Yeah, that would be cool. I can't wait, people to see this video.
okay.
All right.
Take care.
Okay. Say hi to everybody for me.
Definitely, I will. Bye bye.
Here. Bye.